Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming out today. And I don't know what I was thinking when I agreed to come after the Reverend, because nothing I can say here is going to make anything like he just said before. He was fantastic. But thanks, everyone, for being here, and thanks to my family for being here today, too, my son and my daughter and my wife. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We the people, the first three words, three very simple words that is the focus of our rally today. We heard them all our lives. If you guys out here about my age, you're like me, you probably first heard them at Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday morning as a kid. And we've been using them over and over again, but have you ever really thought of what those three simple words mean? Well, I'm going to talk about that now. New York native Gouverneur Morris, he's credited with writing the preamble to the Constitution that I just recited. He and the reluctant father of the Constitution, James Madison, put together those words to show that our Constitution was created by and for the everyday citizen, and that Americans are one people. We the people shows no classes, just Americans. By using the singular word people rather than the plural peoples, it shows that we Americans are united. The United States is one land, and we all have equal opportunity to pursue our God-given gifts and goals. But we need to live today by the truth of these simple words. They've rarely been as important, as the Reverend pointed out, than as they are at this moment in our history. Today, we've purposely been cast into class warfare, divided among racial lines, and our individual rights have been stolen as the left Orwellingly usurps our language. For example, Affordable Health Care Act. It means government control over your very health at a far greater cost in dollars and liberty. The balanced approach means tax the productive and give to others. Essentially, tax the American dream and give it to the dreamer. Common sense means infringing on our Second Amendment right to bear arms. What would Thomas Paine say about that? Fairness. Fairness means what Washington politicians and bureaucrats say it means, rather than what we know in our hearts from our Judeo-Christian values. Choice. Choice means taking choice from innocent life. And shared sacrifice means surrendering more of your property, surrendering more of your liberty to government as the political elites enjoy privileged lifestyles and the trappings of celebrity. In 2013, we the people has fallen to them, the government. Together we meet here in Teaneck, New Jersey. Happens to be the place of my birth, right over there. Where in 1962, a young couple, Mary Ann Lynch, only 5 years removed from her native Ireland, and Frank Connor were married and got a small apartment there on Queen Anne Road. They started a family and started their American dream. In 1975, the American dream was shattered when my 33-year-old father, Frank, was killed by terrorists. They were dedicated to destroy this country, and their descendants now govern our land. But the American dream didn't die with Frank. It's lived on in Frank and Mary's sons and their grandchildren. I stand here today reflecting on and drawing strength from my father and from our forefathers who over 220 years ago risked the hangman's noose to guarantee inalienable rights to their fellow Americans, their progeny, and for the timeless Constitution that immortalized those God-given rights. Like the simple phrase, we the people, the founders understood the simple truth of life. They understood the individual as the vessel of society And as the rising tide raises the ship, so does the elevation of the individual raise the level of society. And how does an individual raise his level? Well, it doesn't take a village. It's quite the opposite. It takes parents, it takes family, it takes faith, and it takes the removal of impediments to our ambitions. We, the people, must remove the nanny state government imposed barriers of confiscatory taxes, intrusive laws and regulations that torment our human will to succeed. You know, through all this, I think it's fair to say that the nanny state wants Americans to survive. But we here today, we want Americans to live. These two sentiments are so similar on the surface, but they show how diametrically opposed our visions for Americans are. We need leaders who believe in, who live by, and who can clearly articulate these simple concepts and differences. Liberals see the old cradle-to-grave nanny state vision for the American people. They envision a society where risk and failure are banned and reward is disparaged as greed. Where fairness is stripped of its will to succeed in the name of social justice. Where humanity is stripped of its will to succeed in the name of social justice. What they call fairness. They encourage not individual achievement, but a shared sacrifice. They see our lives sacrificed to the state or to one man's vision. And that, my friends, is not living. We see a lot of evidence of this in the unconstitutionally mandated Obamacare, increased regulation on tax, and on the great industries that we have in this country, such as coal, aeronautics, and the punitive tax on society's great economic contributors. The nanny state vision may temporarily sustain us, but it will never fulfill us. We want to once again feel in our stomachs the knot of anticipation, the dread of failure we felt as kids when the training wheels finally came off. The fire in our bellies as our mothers and fathers ran alongside our bikes, encouraging us as we pedal faster and faster. We want all of us to experience that awesome sense of pride, that feeling of exhilaration, the adrenaline rush of pure freedom when we outraced our parents for the first time and felt their last push as they ultimately let go of us. We were finally on our own, if only for a short time, and it was scary, but it felt great. We also need to remember and learn from the feeling when we crashed our Schwinn Stingrays into the neighbor's bushes. We may have been scraped and bruised, but we got right back on our bikes and we tried again. No one bailed us out. Instead, we were motivated to succeed. Like success, failure is part of life. And those of us who've played sports know that when you fail, it motivates you to do better the next time. Like our forefathers, who set the groundwork of freedoms that led to our country's success, it was our fathers and mothers who pushed us to success. And I don't know anybody who remembers their nannies running around alongside their bike as they were learning to ride for the first time. Government largesse may sustain us, but like I said, it will never fulfill us. As we all know, today our Second Amendment rights are under attack. If you don't own a gun, or you don't plan to own a gun, I think we all understand that, and we're fine with that. But make no mistake, you're still in this fight. The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, is a right of the people guaranteed in the Constitution, the same as your religion, the same as your speech, and the same as our ability to meet here today peacefully. These common sense goal control laws are much about guns as Obamacare is about your health. As Rahm Emanuel infamously said, never let a good crisis go to waste. These loathsome politicians have used innocent deaths for their political gain, secretly and urgently ramming through laws to destroy our God-given rights. In the case of your health and your arms, our ability to protect our very lives and the lives of our children. The Second Amendment was not ratified for hunters. as the media and politicians would have you believe. The Second Amendment right was guaranteed as a safeguard against our own government's tyranny, protection against the same elites who now have us under siege. George Mason, who authored the Virginia Declaration of Rights and co-authored with James Madison the Second Amendment, responded to his own question. I ask, sir, what is the militia? It is the whole people. To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them. Thomas Jefferson concurred. Those who hammer their guns into plowshares will plow for those who do not. John Adams believed, arms in the hands of citizens may be used as individual discretion for the defense of the country, the overthrow of tyranny, or the private self-defense. And Thomas Paine, the author of Common Sense, the original Common Sense, wrote, arms discourage and keep the invader and plunderer in awe. They preserve order in the world as well as property. Horrid mischief would ensue if law-abiding citizens were deprived of the use of them. Look, we're all in this together, guys, like the founders were. Let's offer each other a little shared sacrifice and risk something for our country. I'm not asking you to risk your job, your lives, or your families as the founders did, but perhaps your time, perhaps donations to the right causes, and maybe even risk a friendship or two to get the truth out. The founders risked their lives and their children's futures by acting. We risk our lives and our children's futures by not acting. Thank you.